Earlier in the week, Morgan Hoffman brought us her Boston interviews with Oscar winners Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, who both star in The Instigators, a new film from Apple.
And Morgan recently caught up with the pair's co-star, Academy Award nominee Hong Chow. Take a look.
I gotta speak to you. I really need you right now, Doc.
I would be breaking the law.
What if I took you hostage? I mean, like, with your permission.
What kind of conversation is this?
You're gonna love him.
Morgan Hoffman with Morning Show in Canada. I'm so excited to interview
Canada.
in Canada, Toronto.
You have amazing Canadian energy, just really just good.
Wait, now I want to know, what's the Canadian energy?
Everybody just feels like a good person in Canada.
Yay! I mean, that is the stereotype, right? And you would know, you filmed Downsizing in Toronto.
Yeah.
You are on fire right now, I feel like. Night Agent, The Whale.
Which we shot in Vancouver.
Oh my gosh, I love Vancouver. And then, of course, The Instigators. What's life like right now?
Life is good. Life is really good. I have a 6-month-old baby and a 3.5-year-old. Life is good in that department. And then I'm working in a movie with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck and Doug Liman. Yeah.
I mean, no big deal. It's so incredible. How were you first approached about being a part of this film and knowing that you were going to get to reunite with Matt Damon?
Oh, I was so happy to get the call, and I loved working with Matt on Downsizing, but you never know in this industry when you're going to get to work with somebody again. Like with Doug and Matt, it was 20 years in between The Bourne Identity and The Instigators. Like, what? And they're so... their identities and their names are so closely linked together that you just don't think about, 20 years? How is that possible? So to get to work with Matt so soon after Downsizing, I'm really, really grateful. And besides that, Doug Liman, I'm a huge fan of his work, and the script is so funny. Casey co-wrote it. There was a lot for me to do there as an actor. I had this... preconception that action movies were kind of boring to shoot because...
What? Why?
Because I don't know. I guess, I just thought, the action was the most important part. And so when I spoke with Doug, he said that the most important thing was the characters in this movie. He wanted it to be character-driven and not action-driven. He's a master at what he does. He can do action sequences in his sleep. But for him, what's interesting is getting to watch us. He's got this really boyish energy. Everything's so fun to him, and when you see something tickle Doug, you see it on his face, and it's so satisfying. So, yeah, the whole experience was just really refreshing and surprising to me.
So I've heard so much about the improvisation on this between Matt and Casey and everybody. Is that fun, or is that intimidating at first, or do you just dive right in?
I think I just kind of dove right in because, I felt supported. I felt like there was no wrong thing that could come out of my mouth because Matt was constantly making fun of Casey, so when you see that, the pressure is off, and there's no stupid thing you can do or say. And if it is stupid, maybe that's a good thing because this is a movie about a bunch of idiots. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so then how would you describe that synergy between Matt and Casey? Does it feel like older, younger brother vibe?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Casey is such a little brother.
I love that.
It's so funny, and Matt is always in the best way, just exasperated and God, come on. That's every interaction between the two of them was like that all day long on set. So it also mirrored the characters.
I was just gonna say, so how close were they to their characters?
Pretty close. That dynamic, they didn't have to do very much for it to just feel really real and funny.
I saw them at the screening, and they said that it was a huge deal, this film, that they've been working on it for years. Yeah. Did you feel that way being on set with them, that this was a very special project to them?
Yeah, I think so because, they're both so selective about the work that they do, and they're not doing it just to do it, to churn out a movie. And the fact that it was taking place in Boston, I think, added another layer to it, where if we're going to shoot in Boston, we're going to do it right, And the city was so great in terms of giving us access to different locations, like to get to shoot a high-speed car chase down the Esplanade was a big deal. And then getting access to the mayor's office was also really huge. So yeah, it was great to get to do it with these guys in the city because they're so beloved here.
The Instigators is currently streaming on Apple TV+.